G'day all, welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yard. I'll be Nat, this will be my Knackers Yard. This will be, struggling to focus more than I am, the CB250 Super Dream. Right, let's have a quick look at paint before we look at engine. Right, so some shiny paint. I'm really just leaving it now, just to do its thing and cure as much as anything else. It's looking, it's looking all right. The back section I've rubbed down a bit. That's had 1,500 wets, just relatively gentle marks on it because it was wet. It's not marks on the actual piece. Why I'm going to try something a little bit different on this one. I don't like putting stickers, decals, whatever you want to call them, over freshly polished paint because I think they peel. But I have got lacquer on these already, so what I intend to do is just to knock them back. Not perfect, I'm not going to go for a shine, and I'm certainly not putting any product on it because it's going to have more lacquer on top of it. So what I want to do is get it reasonably flat. I'm not going to go for perfectly flat yet. Get it reasonably flat like that. Go for the decals, which I have ordered. It's 50 quid's worth, Jesus. Get the decals on, and then go for some more clear lacquer over the top, and actually probably quite a lot, to seal those in, and then I'm going to flatten back proper. So at the moment it's really just getting rid of the worst of the orange peel at the moment, because obviously if you've got an orange peel, if you keep applying on that orange peel, you're effectively going to make it worse before it gets better. And by the time it gets better, you put a lot of lacquer on, probably doubled the weight of the bike. So yeah, I've gone for a bit of flat. You can still see the flecking on it. Some bits are quite flat, but you can still see the flecking on it. That will probably do for now, being really careful not to do the edges too much because I'll burn through the paint. I'll wait for the decals to arrive, chuck those on, and I think I'm going to go for wet decals, i.e. Loads of soapy water so they will slide around, so I can move them around as I go. Oops, trying to focus on my hand. So I can move them around as I go and then dry them in place and let the glue do its action then. Because it's going to be quite difficult to get bends in the right place unless you're really lucky. And having watched Ryan do it and struggle, he got there in the end, but it was after a lot of arsing around, and I'm sure he'll agree with that. I have done it with really wet soapy water on my on the Thundercat actually. It does give you a lot of movement, a lot of fucking around, and then you dry it out. So anyway, that's the plan with the paint. Right, so back on the engine, I can't quite remember what I've told and what I've covered and what I haven't. Oh, it's fucking cold, it's not going anywhere. So I did get my 21.5 bolt, pushed it through, give it a yank, and off it came. And I'm sure I've showed you this before. I haven't touched this, hasn't cleaned it at all, but all the magnets are in place. It's just, to my simple mind, mucky. Moving on to the actual stator, again, it's not burnt out, there's no visual burning on it, it's just mucky, I think. I have taken the bolts out for the igniter, or the ignition pickup, I suppose. They were pretty tight. My impact wrench is my friend on this, and now the instructions tell me loosen the alternator wiring, etc, etc. Yes, it's all there. I'm going to have to pull the wiring off. I'll do that in a minute, I'm getting mucky. It does say remove the 3 alternator screws, do not loosen the 2 black painted screws because this would cause loss of timing accuracy. I haven't got anything that's black. Can you spot any black screws in there? I can't. No, what I can spot is in the little picky. It's that one and that one. So it's 3 o'clock. So don't remove that one. Don't remove that one. It should be the 3 biggies, is my interpretation. Now again, I'm being turbo careful of stripping and deheading. I'm really alternating between whatever I can feel has got the best bite and take, which I think is that one. It's the advantage of using my impact driver. See, so I've got a little bit of rock in there. I mean, these are all JIS. But, yeah. Right. I'm getting no movement off them without a clout. This one looks a little bit corroded in, which isn't surprising. So manual impact drivers are fucking brilliant. I hadn't used this for ages. I'd kind of forgotten I had it. But you know, there are some things our grandparents used to do that are still brilliant. Don't get me wrong, there's lots of things they used to do that aren't. But let's not get into that. Look at that. What an amazing tool. You have and you are, Nat, an amazing tool. Yeah. I'm ever so slightly struggling. I've joined the ranks of the very, very old today, actually. I have very focal glasses, which I'm really struggling to get used to, but my near vision was getting fucking terrible. It's too long spent in computers and things like that, I'm sure. But I was really struggling. And I think I'm better, but I am. Flipping between focal ranges, it's interesting. Remove the 3 alternator screws. Do not do those. Lift the stator away together with the pickup with which it is interconnected. Oh, as in, of course it's all fucking interconnected. I don't think this is just going to fall out. Those bolts were so welded on. Right, I'm trying really hard to lever this off without leveraging against the plastic coating, because obviously that's just going to crack. So I'm reaching behind it and trying to get the metal on metal. Skinnier one. I think I'm getting somewhere. Yes. Well, hurrah and huzzah. I've got a screw there, it's old man, it doesn't mention that. If I've missed that in the book, or the book's missed it. Come into play. just a clip on the cable. The only one? I think it is. Excuse me, getting in the way. That's just the rubber of the casing. It's plasticised. I really want to strip the cable if I don't have to. Yeah, there we go. So that crack was. It's just the casing plasticised. Cables look okay underneath. Yeah, just going to need some tidying up. And we're there. And we are fucking there. Right, let me get that stuff bagged up. Right, final drive sprocket. I've already had this off to get the chain off, so it should be relatively simple. He says tempting fate massively. It's those two bolts which should be relatively finger tight because I didn't clamp them back on. Yeah, slight sacrilege using pliers to remove bolts, but like I say, they were literally finger tight. I really need to write on Stator, it's fairly obvious what it is, but let's get this ready. Slight turn off. Right. Get that labelled up. I don't know how much I was recording there. That's all loosened. Where they're tougher, it does seem to be because they're gummed down rather than they're stuck, which is comforting to a degree. That might be why. Grazie. Grazie. Right, I think they're all loose enough now for more mechanical means. I think I'm just going to grab a pot. Right. Right, so I probably would have fast forwarded you through a lot of that. That's essentially my net, my map, my bolt map. We'll do some better tidying up, I think. Probably better without bolts sticking out the bottom. Right, we'll do a visual to see if I've missed any. Don't think I have. Right, let me check the book. Right. beating the fuck out of it without beating the fuck out of it. I may have to return to this because I don't have a lot of time. To my mind, pretty much everything stays in the top half, which is currently at the bottom, just to confuse you. Right, couple of minutes later and a bit of thinking, because you always need to think. I think I'm fucked. So my oil filter cover that I just can't get off, and I thought, oh well, I'll just crack on without. Now if I can find the picture of that bolt, I'll stick the picture up the bolt up here. It's long, hollow, with its thread on the bottom. I think it goes through that hole, and I think the thread is into the oil, is into the box, basically into the other half. So at the moment I have two halves that can't be separated because it's going to be held on by that bolt. So hence not leathering it, because I'm going to cock everything up. So what? I've tried heat on that bolt. The thread for it, as per the picture, is down the bottom. So I'm going to get naff all use whacking a load of heat up the top. So I wonder if I could put heat down the bottom. Don't know. Suggestions. If I can get a replacement cover, I might just be better off cutting it off, which is fucking scary stuff. What do you think, people? Come on, give me some suggestions. Cheers all, and I'll catch you later on. Ta-da. Potentially ignore me. I did have another go at the oil filter bolt. I've tried welding a socket on the top. That didn't play either. I was giving it a bit of a whack around and testing, and I'd missed a bolt. Big fuck long bugger. And there's nothing in the book that tells, well, there may be on putting it back together, but it's the bolt. Take all the way through. It's cracked. Right. I'm going to stop it there. Next upload will be me trying to take this top off, but I've got to go and do clubs and dad shit. Catch you later. Ta-da.